Hey guys, welcome to the final or the deployment section or the deployment video. We're actually going to take our app and it's pretty much done locally. We just need to push it to Heroku and we should be all set. You could actually even point a domain name to it and put it live on the web. So let's just first thing, let's just open up a terminal and we want to go to our sites folder. Sorry. And then my Ruby blog. I've done this 100 times already. And let's just run the server. Make sure everything's all good. Okay, so that should be good. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so here's our final product. Make sure everything's working. Make sure our categories are working correctly. There are no posts. News. We have some posts. Blog roll works. Contact page, which we have nothing, but that's fine. Resources page, static page, search. Let's search for third, and we get the third post. So everything's working as expected, and I think we're ready to deploy. So let's open another command line. Whoop. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to push the database, I'm sorry, not push. I want to migrate the database on the production app, on the Heroku app. And we can do that by running Heroku run rake db migrate. And this is just going to create all the tables and the structure that we've done since our last remote migration. Alright, looks like it ran fine. Now let's actually do a Heroku. I'm sorry, not Heroku. We want to do git push Heroku master. This will push all our files to Heroku. And we're gonna actually, we should have did this before we did the migration because I don't think it went through because we didn't actually have the migration files on the remote server. So we're just gonna run that again once this is finished. Oh, it seems slower. Alright, so that looks good. Now let's do that migration command again. Alright, so now you can see that it actually went through. Created the comments table and whatever else that we're missing from our last push. So now what I want to do is export our local database and then import it to Heroku. And since we're on a Windows machine, we have to specify the entire file path. So it's kind of annoying, but what are you gonna do? So we want to do program files, x86, PostgreSQL 9.2 is the current version, and then bin, and then we want to do pg dump.exe. We want no ACL and no owner, and our host will be localhost. User will be I think it's Postgres. Yeah, and then the database is my Ruby blog. And then we want to put in the file we want, which is my Ruby blog dot dump. Sorry, not my Ruby blog. Alright, so I want to go to my directory and I want to delete this dump file so there's no confusion. So when I run this, it should create a new one. Now it needs the password. That's your database password. So it created the file. Let's see what that looks like. Alright. That looks good. Not good, but it'll work. Alright, so now we have our dump file. Now if you remember, we have to upload it somewhere on the internet. And I'm going to use my staging server. You can see I still have the dump file from the last time. So I'm going to upload that. Alright, so now that's uploaded on my staging server. So now I can do the import, and we do that with using the PG Backups add-on. Heroku PG Backups, and we want to do a restore. And it's a database, obviously. And then we put the link to where I just uploaded it, which is techguystaging.com, files, and myrubyblog.dump. Alright, let's see if that works. Alright, so it's telling us it's a destructive action, so we just got to type in the name of the app. And I'm sorry if I keep just saying my Ruby blog when we're talking about the remote app, because I know that yours is named something different. So just put whatever you called your app. Alright, so that looks good. So now let's cross our fingers and go to, again, your remote Heroku app name will be different than mine. It's not going to be my Ruby blog. I know you know that. Alright. And hopefully everything went alright. Alright, looks good. I love when that happens. Okay, so let's go to a post. Alright. Comment. Might as well try to leave a comment. Will be Steve. And it'll be Steve at gmail.com. And there it is. So news. Alright, everything looks good. So now we actually have a live Ruby on Rails app. So one thing I also want to show you is If you want your app to be live on Heroku and you're going to keep it there, this obviously, you don't really want a subdomain, so you can actually go to Heroku.com. I'm just going to show you this real quick. You can log in and go to your admin panel, or whatever you want to call it, and go to the app. And if you go to settings, there's this area down here. This is our subdomain, myrubyblog.herokuapp.com, but let's say I want to use myrubyblog.com. I could just add that. I could type that here and add that, and then I just have to point the DNS to Heroku server, and the app would be, all of a sudden it would be on myrubyblog.com, just like that. So that's something that you should really look into if you're planning to actually use Heroku as a host. And you can click on this link here and it'll tell you exactly what to do. It'll tell you exactly what name servers to put in and all that stuff. I'm not going to go over that now, but just something to think about if you want to use Heroku. But I mean, that's it. That's really it for the series. So you went from, I'm assuming, not knowing anything about Ruby on Rails to building a decent app. If we do a review about what we've done in this series, we installed Rails installer on Windows. We installed Ruby and Heroku tool belt on both Windows and Linux. We set up Git and Heroku and deployed before we even did any development. In Chapter 2, we learned all about Ruby, arrays, hashes, conditionals, all that good stuff. We learned about the model view controller framework and how it's structured. We went over generating scaffold and generating different controllers and views. We went over layouts. We took this HTML template and turned it into a Rails layout. And we went over routes and tests and just a lot of stuff, all the fundamentals of programming with Ruby on Rails. And so we come to the end, and I've really enjoyed making this series, and I hope you learned a lot, and maybe I'll see you in a different series. Thanks.